Hey, how's everybody doing out there? There we go. Hello, hello, hello. Chile, Montreal, Canada, San Francisco. I'm assuming that's what SF is. I guess it could stand for something else too. Just assume San Francisco. Awesome. I guess it means it's working. Something's happening. There's always that moment where you hit, start streaming and the screen stays blank. So, Moscow, Netherlands. Woo! International. Kind of a big deal overseas. Awesome, guys. Sao Paulo, Brazil, Iceland, Czech Republic, Austria. Dang. Dubai. We're everywhere. Indonesia? Man. I guess home is home, but, home being Colorado seems kind of boring compared to where you guys live. All right. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. And let's do a couple things up front. We'll get to modeling very quickly. But I wanted to throw this out. So I had kind of a natural way of greeting, which I don't know if this is a result of growing up in the Midwest, if this is specific to my family, I don't know. But when I see a group of people, I'll say something like, hey guys, hi guys. And it's just kind of what I say. There's no thought behind it. It's just what comes out of my mouth. So base camp last year kind of got called out for using the term guys maybe a little too much. So I was thinking about that, being conscious. I mean, I'm not using guys meaning men. I'm not saying hello males. I'm actually meaning it like, hi y'all. Unfortunately, growing up in Chicago, living in Colorado, y'all doesn't come out of me no matter how hard I try. I can't normally say that. So I end up saying hi guys or hey guys. I was trying to mix it up, try something else. I tried hey SketchUppers there a couple times, and a few of you guys called me out on that. Said that it sounded weird. I think that's an exact quote on how it sounded. Was weird. Howdy y'all. See? Jimmy from Texas knows what I'm talking about. I can't do it. I tried. So I want to throw this out to you. Is something more along the lines of, hey guys and gals, does that sound too forced? I don't want to leave anybody out. I don't want anybody to think I'm not talking about them. Hey everybody, is that good? Does that work better? You guys let me know in the comments. Let me know if you hear a greeting. Hey folks, Jim Holton throws out. Hey folks. Good to see you folks. I don't know. I could maybe work with that. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, guys is internet speak for friends. So I'm hoping nobody takes any kind of offense to it. I'll try. I mean, I've tried. I've been trying to use a different term, but I don't know if I almost just said it right there. I almost said, I don't know if you guys noticed, but yes, guys, it just spills out. So, all right, I'll keep an ear out. If anybody comes up with an awesome idea for how I could address a mass group of people who I don't know anything about, let me know. It may be guys, it may stay as guys. I don't know. We'll see. We'll keep working on that. We'll workshop that together. Us. This will be our thing. Everybody else in the world who didn't show up here doesn't get input. You guys, you guys get input. So ahoy. There we go. If I were a Navy veteran like Bill, I would be able to throw out ahoy also. Greetings, Earthlings. See, now there again, I may be alienating anybody who's not from Earth right there. So, it's a tough one. Hello, everyone. See, that's pretty safe. Yeah, Jeff from Chicago says stick with the roots. And leave. According to Marvin, I should leave with y'all come back now, you hear? I'll see how that works. Whoa. Colin's watching on his TV on YouTube. That's a whole lot of SketchUp. Hi all. Yeah, that works okay. Okay, Marconi's giving me a thumbs up on guys. And ahoy says Callie says ahoy is used every day in Czech. So, whew, it's hard. I'll keep going. You guys keep throwing out thoughts. I would love to hear your input on that. All right, I do have to throw out one more thing. So, end of last session, I showed you guys my personal modeling project, my Lego Millennium Falcon. I threw that up and, see, I like to say throw up. I showed you images of it and shared that with you and challenged you. I threw this out. I said, everybody's using SketchUp, especially those using it for work, should have their own personal model going on as well. Just something they can do for fun, something that challenges them, goes beyond what they do on a day-to-day basis, something that maybe pushes them, or if you're got downtime where you're not modeling, kind of keeps the gears greased kind of thing, you know, keep your modeling going. And I think I had a straight up response from Marconi, who just replied in the text or in the chat as well. He not only showed me that he has a personal model going on, but it happens to be Lego as well. Well, one of them does. So I just wanted to give a shout out. He did some cool, what are they called? Duplo? The big Legos? But he did some awesome character models out of these big Legos and rendered them all. So he actually went in and put the detail on the back of the block too. Talked about how I pulled that out of my model because it was getting too heavy. But yeah, some awesome, if you go up onto our forum and look at personal SketchUp projects, you can see what he's got here and give him a like because there's some very, very cool models. That was awesome. But a little further down the thread, he one-upped that a little bit and showed some of his other personal 3D modeling stuff, which was these, had some letters with motion in them. You can see here, they're pretty awesome. And then a little further down, this is the part that I really liked, was way further down. Marconi's been busy. He uploaded this, which is awesome, which I thought was super cool. So, kind of as an inspiration of something to try. This would be a fun one to put up. But yeah, so thumbs up, Marconi, taking advantage and taking the challenge literally and throwing up some 3D Lego modeling. That's awesome. Good job. Thank you very much. All right. We are going to make a plane today. I'm just checking up. Pretty cool. Yep, yeah, so we'll hop right in. I did, because we've been doing this before, I did make a entry on the forum. I call it Live Modeling a Super Hornet, or a Boeing F18E from Top Gun 2. So I put this up here. We can share files. If you guys have something you want to get to me, throw it on there, and I'll be watching that in another window. So if an update shows up there, I should see it. With that, we're going to go ahead and hop right in. So I downloaded some images. This was as close I had as a screensaver. All my screensavers are just rendered SketchUp models, and this is the closest thing I had to airplanes, which is flying turtles. So, you know, It's bright. Look how bright that is. It's so blue. Blue skies. So yeah, pretend those are fighter jets or something. So I went and found some good images of the F-18E, which is actually the one, some of these are close to, but not the exact same. But actually, I don't think I found the exact F-18E images. I think I found some Fs. This one's not labeled. So I found something close to what we're making. There's probably going to be discrepancies. Throwing it out now. Not a plane guy, not a car guy, not a, really, vehicles in general are kind of a mystery to me. So please excuse me if I do anything dumb, which will probably happen, or model something incorrectly that negates this from being the proper vehicle or maybe even being a flight-worthy vehicle at all. So disclaimer completed. Anyhow, these are some good images that I found that I think are going to be, they're going to work pretty well. Like this one in particular does have some dimensions on there. That's kind of nice. I would like to model the full size if possible. So we might start with this one and then know that we have a couple other images here that we could defer to or use as inspiration perhaps as well. So with that, let's, oh, so Stephen Frawley says the F model is a two-seater. Is that the difference between an F-18 versus an A-18? Is that how it works? Or oh, it's the 18F versus E? Is that it? I don't know. You can see, you know, like I said, total plane guy. But I did think it was interesting because I don't know if you guys remember Top Gun, the original Top Gun, right? The movie had him flying an F-14. And that was that big, it was a big plane and it had the wings that would fold back or come out. Awesome, big, monstrous piece of plane. This is a much smaller, compactor, and I'm assuming more maneuverable, and it's been 20 some years, so better plane, I'm hoping. And I don't know, I'm also saying the word plane, and I'm not sure if you're supposed to say fighter or jet instead of plane, just like you're not supposed to say boat when you're talking about a ship. Again, if you guys want to clue me in, please forgive my faux pas. With that, let's get this thing started. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to import this as a reference image first. So we'll go ahead and hop right back into SketchUp. Maybe we will. Yes, we will. All right, so gonna go File and import our image. Somebody pointed out last week that I had imported a PDF that was actually vector-based for the guitar. They said they imported it and just pulled the lines in and made it much quicker. That's awesome. That is great. If you are on Mac and can import a PDF as line work, that is super. It's totally something could have done, but opted to draw the lines instead to talk about drawing lines. So good catch. That's awesome, and I'm glad you're able to do that. All right, so first and foremost, I have this as, didn't even realize, I have this as a GIF file. So first thing we're gonna do is go open this back up and save it as a JPEG or a PNG. So I'll head back over here, open this up, file, export that as the proper, I like PNGs, just kind of something I like, and I will save that. All right, now we can go open this PNG file. All right, I'm just gonna click and I'm gonna drag it in kind of big. This is not a super high resolution image. It's not a vector-based image. Not necessarily a bad thing, and we'll look at why that is as we go through here. ENT's reminiscing about the video shop days when you would go out to a store or a brick and mortar location, as it's often referred to nowadays, and you would go look at the jacket of an image, and you'd see Tom Cruise with his feathery hair and his aviator glasses squinting at you, and a jet in the background. You look at that like, oh, you take the video home and put it in. That was pretty cool. I think there's something tactile that's missing from media nowadays. I love downloading stuff. I love subscription services where you have like access to all the music that Apple has for a couple bucks a month. That's awesome. Same thing with movies. Netflix is great. But there's something cool about CD cases and flipping open CDs, or reading the description of the movie on the back of a cardboard sleeve that a VHS tape is in. Oh, it just felt so old right now. Anyhow, yeah, must rewind. Don't forget to rewind if you ever do that. Be kind, rewind. All right, so we have here, tangent. That was a tangent. I apologize for my tangent. No, I don't. I don't apologize. You guys are here. We're hanging out. This is what we do. Anyhow. So we have here the FA18C/D or 18E/F. So this is, from everything everything I've read, this is the fighter. This is the one that Tom Cruise is in the movie. So we're gonna go with this thing right here. So I think it's the bigger of the two. I think that is this one, and this one. And these three are the C or D. So I'm gonna go grab my biggest dimension I have on here, which is this 60.3 feet. So I'm gonna draw my line here to here, and then I'm going to dimension that. 60.3 feet. All right, and now these are all to scale. All right, first thing I want to do, I love that there's this reminiscing about all the media, antique media in the background. Rewinding a DVD or having to flip a Laserdisc halfway through. And then nice, Colin's point out, we don't have to rewind YouTube videos after you watch them. It's so nice, it's so pleasant. We really don't appreciate just how good we got it, you kids today. All right, so I'm starting to look at this. I'm trying to think of how to do this. I really haven't thought through exactly the process to use here. I'm kind of thinking, just because the natural shape of a jet is so streamlined and smooth, that subdivision would probably be the easiest way to do it. I don't want to do it on a helicopter. Not that I don't, I want to do something different. The helicopter was awesome, that was fun. We used just the native tools to go through and do that, and it was really cool. But we also just did that. So it's been a while since we've done a real straight up, I guess we did Toy Story as kind of sub-DE, but some subdivide-y. I think what I would do, here's my thought, here's my initial thought, is I kind of want to take these images, these three sides like this, and model the body as best I can using a subdivided mass. That would give me this nice cone right here. I could get the cockpit like this. The jets that come out the back, that shape. This section right here is kind of a cool shape where it's got like a kind of a curve that comes up in the middle, and then two curves that come down the side that kind of alternate over each other, which is really cool. So I'm kind of thinking that that's what I'll do here to start, is we'll get our reference cage lined up, and then initially I'll build the first part of the body using sub D, and we will come back and use some native tools for some of these other pieces, and we'll just see where it goes from there. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image and stand it up. So this is going to be my first piece. I'm going to take a copy of it, put it over here, bring it around like that. And then we'll take one more copy, put it right here, Put it like that. All right, so so we got a bunch of images here. These are the three I'm worried about. So I want this one right here, this one right here, and I believe this one right here. So I'm gonna line up those images, and once I'm done, I'll trim these images back afterwards. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to a point that I'm gonna designate as being the nose here. Pull that out, and I'm going to line that up with the nose here. Ooh, so that actually lined up pretty well. I don't have to mess with that vertically too much. And now I'll drop this line straight down to the surface, grab this by the nose, and line that up right there. Okay, so that should be a decent set of just alignment points that I can start working off of. So I know I can start my nose right at this point and work back. Now, I don't need all this extra imagery. So at this point, all I need is a rectangle here, and a rectangle here. I don't need the rest of this image. It is an image right now, so there's not a whole lot I can do with it. Images are special groups. We talked about this before. They are kind of a automatic group that gets created when you import a graphic file as an image. I can't do anything to edit it. Fortunately, it is pretty simple to right-click and explode. Once I explode, I can actually use move to just move these lines to crop it. That's going to be the best way to do that. Because one of the other things I don't want to do right now is I don't want to accidentally resize anything. I don't want to change the size of any of this stuff because it is reference photos. I do want to keep it that way. I'm going to just, for the sake of it, pull that out there. And then same thing here, I will explode this. Don't worry, I'm going to come back and prevent myself from screwing this up in a moment. I'm going to hold down the red axis shift. I'm going to bring that back to there. Okay, actually, let me pull it back just a touch. Nope. Pull it in. So hold on to my dimension. Pull this one down to here. And then one more. Explode. Bring this line in here, and then pull this line down here. At this point, I'm going to grab all three images. No, I'm not. I'm going to grab one at a time. Grab this one, right click, and I'm going to make group. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to lock it. I'm going to do that to all three. The reason I didn't do that to all pieces together is I didn't want that big bounding box cage all the way around the whole thing. I just want the images as groups and then locked. Make group and lock. All right. With that, we have come up with that. So that is probably a lot of that's flying around right now. Hey guys, that. There we go. That's me. Let's go ahead and save this. My desktop and call it, I'm going to call it a Super Hornet. How about Super Hornet? All right. I like that term better than saying F/A space 18E. Just doesn't roll off the tongue the same as Super Hornet. And Super Hornet sounds cool. I think that the F-14, my coworker Jody said that he thinks that the F-14, the previous one was called the Wildcat or the Tomcat or something, which is probably a more imposing animal, but a Hornet actually flies. So, you know, score one for the Super Hornet on that one. All right, enough stalling. Let's model this thing. All right, so what I'm going to do is, again, we're going to subdivide this first part. So I'm going to start with a single shape and start pulling it back. And what I want to look at is how many pieces do I actually want this original. Basically, it's going to be a cylinder that is this first center part of the cockpit and the body of the plane. Usually what I do, I go from, oh, a Tomcat. Greg corrected me. It was not a Wildcat, it was a Tomcat. You could be lying too. I don't know. It's, who knows? And Mark Honey pointed out that a Russian flight simulator game designer was arrested for traveling the U.S. and buying F-16 blueprints. Be careful. Stay out of Russia with this model. I'm going to put it on 3D Warehouse. If you get arrested after that, not my fault. So the question now is really, how many sides do I want to start with my shape initially? Generally speaking, I work with 8-sided shapes. I've just found that 8 sides is about the right size for most things we model or look at have a front, side, back. So 8 sides gives me that front, back, and sides, a surface at those places, and then a transition face between them. 4 sides, so I have one on the front, back side, doesn't really smooth over very well. It always looks kind of square, which is okay for some models. If I'm actually looking for something that's going to end up being a full cylinder when I subdivide it, I'll go with 8 sides. 6 actually does round over pretty well. But again, with 6, you don't end up with a surface either on the sides or the front because there's not enough pieces there. So, having said all that, I'm going to go ahead and grab my polygon tool, and I'm going to draw a polygon with 8 sides. I'm going to put it right here. And one of the things that happens is, of course, when you pull out your polygon, I want to make sure that I go up or down. I don't want to go off at some weird angle like this. But you notice that's actually pulling the point down, so this is where you have to hit your modifier key. Option, I believe it's Control on Windows machine, and that's going to let you create the dimension for the side rather than the point. So that's important to make sure you do that correctly. If you're being arbitrary and just throwing a shape on the ground, you can throw it on the ground and then use your rotate key or rotate tool to move it if you want, but I'm going to try to do it correctly from the beginning. It's a cool idea. Some people talk about doing it right from the beginning. I'm going to try it. All right, so I'm going to arbitrarily draw that right there and then get rid of these extra lines. All right, so one of the things that I've done a plane before, long time, like, I don't know, 3 years ago, I did a speed model, which was a Learjet. So some of you guys may have seen that. This is going to be pulling from that a little bit. Way different image that we're working on, way different model. But one of the things I did was I actually, and this is odd for me, I actually did a lot of the work from a parallel projection. So I actually looked at it directly from the side. And I'll show you why that's cool. I'm going to go here to camera, turn on parallel, and we will go to this view right here. So from here, this is my polygon. The reason it's nice to work in this parallel projection is I can actually create my segments of my push-pull as I move along here. And then I can actually use Vertex Tools to align the faces to this shape as it moves along. It's real easy to do from here. It's very difficult to actually do in the other view because you don't have it, because it fades off in the distance, so what's closer is always bigger and it's hard to get it to line up right. The issue with this, though, is that you can't really push-pull from the side, right? So I can't do this. So what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and just do a quick push-pull like that. And then from here, I can, grab it, and I can actually do my push-pulls without being, without seeing it. So my first one I'll probably bring up to the cockpit like here. Next one I'll probably bring to this point. There's a kind of a change in the shape of the cockpit right there. P. Couldn't get it. I'm gonna take that to the back of the cockpit. I may add more detail to the cockpit than that. That looks like it might not be enough. What I'm looking for is basically this shape right here. And it's covered by the jets on the side, jets and the wings, but the main part of the body is kind of like in here. So I'm just coming up with any place that there's a drastic change to that shape. I'm gonna go through and create a new push-pulled surface. So I'm just using push-pull option, and I'm arbitrarily clicking and pulling that through. So it looks like it's pretty flat there. I'll pull that back to maybe here, and then one more time, push-pull to somewhere in here is where that section of the body kind of disappears into the jets. If we go to a top view, we can see how that aligns. If I turn on X-ray here, yeah, so that works pretty well. You can see here, this right here may actually be better suited like here. This all pretty much stays the same. Oh, right about here, it looks like it maybe thickens out. So what I might do is grab this option and copy it and put it right there where that break happens. Just grabbing that polygon and bringing it down and dropping it into the tube will of course split it, it'll break it there, and that will be a spot where I can widen or shrink my, my shape. Same thing here, I got it kind of goes down, it looks like it goes kind of flat and then tapers again, so I might grab this and push that back a little bit, give me a little more to work with there to make those shapes happen, and then maybe another one in here also. Fuselage, that's the word I was looking for. Jonathan's got me. The central body portion of an aircraft designed to accommodate the crew and passengers or cargo. Fuselage. That was my spelling bee announcer voice. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, and Jimmy pointed out that the intakes at the angle at the front of the jets, these things right here, we probably will do a different shape for. But yes, we will absolutely come back to that. The Grumman F-14 Tomcat, Jimmy also points out. That is the one, I'm fairly certain. Again, not a plane guy, but it was pretty cool when they were flying those monstrous ships around. And I actually had a model kit, a plastic kit of that plane, jet, fighter, Tomcat. And I remember that from when I was young. And that was so cool. Moving on. All right. So, and of course we can also look at this view right here. Obviously, not a whole lot to see here. It actually looks like our image is maybe a little off center, but we'll use this some more, I think, with the wings. For right now, it's really going to be these two views that we use to create that fuselage shape. Hey, Mohammed, how are you doing? So you're waving at me a lot, so I had to, oh no. We actually had two Mohammeds, different name spellings, both sign in and say hello about 15 seconds apart on Facebook. So hello to both of you. Hello, Mohammeds. Hey, Mohammeds. Maybe that's my new line. Okay. So as we look at this, in order to subdivide this, of course, I have to select it, right-click, and make it into a group. One of the issues I'm going to run into right now is as I did each of those push-pulls, I created a new surface. So each of these faces on the inside is actually a separate face. So a couple ways I could get rid of this. I could kind of just zoom in like this and just hop inside and start deleting faces. Or I can try Solid Inspector, which is going to identify those interior faces and fix them. Solid Inspector is nice because it does delete the surfaces, but it honors the breaks in the lines. So that's definitely a good thing. All right. So that looks pretty good. One of the issues, no, let's not talk about issues. We'll stay away from issues for the time being. Zafrius, I do my best to make clean models. I do not like extra geometry hanging out. I print everything as solid outsides, but there are some times where I do create heavy models. So I appreciate, as a game designer or a game importer of game items, I guess I assumed, Somebody who likes to import geometry, I appreciate your request for clean models, but I don't always optimize my models, so there, you may find some stuff that I have being a little heavier than it needs to be. All right, let's see here. Let's get rid of X-ray for a second. So if I, all right, I want to, can you guys hear the air conditioning? The air conditioning just kicked on in here. It sounds like the wind's blowing. So if you hear a hissing or howling noise, it's because this is one of those rare times where it actually cools down in this room. So I apologize if you're hearing that. I'm going to explode this, and I'm going to come here, I'm going to come here, and I'm going to do 2 sets of editing right now. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come in and grab each of these. I'm going to hit V for vector tools, and I'm going to use a combination of scale, which is going to bring stuff down, and then the move keys to move those sections into place. So I just work my way down here, and something kind of like this. Each polygon is going to get scaled and moved, and possibly moved and scaled again. Try to put this on the center. Bring it down. So something to remember about subdivision. Right now, when I look at the side of this, when I see that dark black line, I'm looking at an edge. That edge, you know, I'm looking at this from the side. That edge, when I subdivide, is going to go like this. It's going to pull in, and that's not a very extreme example here. Let me get out on the screen. Terrible. I'm using a 3D modeling software, and I'm showing you how geometry works with my fingers. So this right here is going to end up getting smoothed out to something like that. And that's the whole idea of subdivisions. It rounds everything out. It takes away those harsh angles. That's a good thing. But what you do want to remember is as you're making these models, give those outside edges a little bit of space. So I want to, you know, kind of maybe give it something like that, be on the outside of the lines. Because as soon as I hit sub D, it's going to get, the geometry gets smaller. All right, this one right here, pull that up. And up again. Ooh, this one actually does need to come up a little bit. Maybe a little too low quality on the old images here. All right, keep going, keep scooting these in. Scaling them down. There's the cockpit done from the profile. Here's where a little bit of guesswork's going to come in because I don't actually have an image of just the fuselage without the jets and the engines and wings on them. So I'm going to be winging it a little bit right there. See, there's times like now where Matt may have had a ba-dum-tsh to play for me that I gotta go without. Oh well. You guys have noticed I am flying solo today. Oh, again. I'm not even trying these. These are just happening. This is just natural. But I am flying solo right now. May get somebody to come in and check the feed for me in a little bit. We'll see. But right now, you got just me. All right. That looks pretty good. That's going to be good for this first run. A lot of times what ends up happening is Alan's asking, with the 2 large screens in front of you, why do we use the small screen on the laptop to do the drawing? These 2 big machines that you can't see, these 2 screens, are actually the machines running OBS and showing me the comments. So they're big because they're far away and have small text on them, and I need to be able to see them. Plus, this is like stripped down. You know, this is man versus wild kind of modeling, just a laptop. Plus, I've yet to see somebody do a good job of broadcasting multiple screens at once. So I'm just showing you the one. You know, if you guys, I'm not offended at all, Callie, because I'm totally winging it. If the sound isn't good, let me know, please, because I can't hear myself. I don't have headphones to check and see how it sounds when I talk. Plus, I'm talking, so it's hard to check the sound of yourself. If anything doesn't sound good, you guys let me know, okay? So this tool that I'm using, Stephania is asking, is an extension. It's called Vector Tool. No, Vector? I always say it wrong. Vector Tool? Oh man, now I gotta look. Oh, right here. It doesn't actually have it in here. Yeah, Vertex Tools. I say Vector Tools every time. Vertex Tools from TomTom, and it is a set of tools that allows you to do modification and editing to the vertices of your model as opposed to the lines to the edges and faces. This is nice because the reason it gets used a lot in this kind of workflow is because it will honor and won't do any sort of damage to quads. So in this case, everything I have is going to be subdivided, so I want to maintain all of my quads, and this does a great job of that. Whoops, didn't get them all there. All right, work my way down the fuselage from above. You guys feel free to talk amongst yourselves. I know you're there. I hear you. And this spot, I'm not 100% sure what to do with it. This stays the same size, or if it actually gets smaller where it overlaps with the engines. I guess in the end it doesn't really matter. Maybe I'll go for more of like a tapering cigar shape. So, cool, fast-looking rocket kind of shape thing. Oops. All right. So with that, we have something like that. Pablo says the sound is okay. Greg says the sound is okay. Callie says it's a bit muffled. That is possible. One of the things I have a habit of doing is as I talk, putting my head down here and modeling and talking where the microphone is actually right up there. So I'm sorry, I'll have yet to perfect that, I guess. I don't think about it too much until I walk in here, which is maybe part of the problem too. All right, one of the other things I want to do is I do want to kind of clean up where this cockpit's. I want to do this all as one. This body section is one piece, including this here. I want to get the window, the cockpit, a little cleaner. So I'm going to grab this right here, pull it up, grab this, pull it down, pull this up. Something like that. I did something wrong. Huh. Oh, I know exactly what I did. I bet it's on the bottom too. Yep. All right, see these extra lines here. Because I drew that original, remember I had those lines in there to identify and locate the front of the plane, or the front of the shape where I was bringing the nose together on all the sides. Unfortunately, I broke that shape when I drew my my octagon right on top of that shape, so it broke all the surfaces. All right, there we go. Had some extra lines here. All right, that's looking pretty okay. I might give it one more pass at some point. I may end up breaking this a little bit more. But Figure what I'll do now is I'll make that a group and subdivide it and see what happens. That's not too bad. First pass. I don't think I can complain about that right there. I mean, most of the body is basically that. So I just rounded it to the lowest. This is the lowest. Oh, look at this. Is it this view? There we go. So here's a perfect example. Let's go back to the side view. Actually, I just think that front view is a little off, but you can see how it did. Watch this. See how it shrinks in, especially those hard corners. It gets smaller. So just something to be conscious of when you go through and make that shape before you go in and subdivide it. Just to look at it, I'm going to go turn on my tool palettes. I'm going to go grab sub D. There we go. And I'm going to grab a set of tools called QuadFace Tools. QuadFace Tools is a tool set that is really created for quad modeling, so which is what we're doing when we do sub D. We're making a bunch of interconnected four-sided shapes that sub D can systematically go through and smooth the transition from one surface to another to give us smooth shapes built out of what is kind of a clunky mesh. But in sub D, so QuadFace tools are tools specifically geared to work with that. And right here, sub D is going to let me do stuff like I'm going to hit the plus and look what a smoother mesh looks like. Yeah, see that? I'm pretty content with that for our first pass at the body of the plane. The only thing, like I said, the only thing I want to do is I want to come in here and add some detail around the cockpit. If nothing else, even just a hard seam all the way around. So I'm going to look at how I would go about doing that. So a couple things I'll look at. One, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm about to break it all. But I don't know if you can see that. See how the shadows are different from one side to the other? If we look at our hidden geometry, this is all a quad is it's 4 points with a diagonal between the opposite corners, and that corner is softened and hidden. But you can see this is one of the things that sub D does is it puts these, for the most part, the same direction. So my left and right side actually end up opposite sometimes. So I don't actually want this. I want it to be the same on both sides. So there's a tool or a button in the QuadFace tools, which is reverse, which allows me to just click real quick and easily and reverse those couple so they look more cockpity. That didn't seem like the right term. All right, so the other thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to come grab these. I want to put a loop in here. So I want to go in and put geometry around this right here. I think I can just select this and then click this. No. What I have to do is I have to actually select the lines that form the loop like this. So there I'm selecting all the edges around this loop of the cockpit, and then when I hit this now, that's what I want to get. So this is the Connect Edges tool, and that's kind of how I would go about creating that separate geometry. It creates something weird here. I might orient faces, reverse faces. All right, there we go. So, all right, I hear you. Oh no, that's not right. No, it's not right. All I did right now was I put the geometry in. I inserted the geometry. It's not in the right spot. This is my next thing. This is what I'm going to use to create the cockpit geometry separate, but still connected. So it's still gonna be connected, but it's gonna be separate. Figure that one out. I'm gonna grab these lines and these lines and these lines. That's gonna give me just those pieces right there. I'm just trying to keep up Yeah, my U shortcut key is what sub D is connected to. Sub D is an extension. Is available on the extension warehouse. It's the subdivision tool. It's not native. It's not a native tool. Nor is what I have mapped to V, which is my Vertex Tools. So I'm going to use that to bring them down like that. Grab, oops, just these points. I do want to make sure I'm looking directly from the side, because as I go to do selection, I'm selecting through. I'm intentionally selecting vertices on the back side, and I'm watching up here in the upper left corner to tell me what's selected. I know that's small, but it says 2 vertices. That assures that I have the lines on the front and the back selected right now. So I'm going to drop that down right there, grab these 2 right here. I'm going to pull them forward, and I'm going to drop them down also. Back here, I'm going to grab these 2, pull them back like this, pull them up. All right, now I'm going to spin to the top view, and I'm going to grab 1, 2, 3. I'm holding down Shift to select multiple. 4 vertices, and I'm going to use Scale to widen those out almost to the edge. Something like that. Now that actually right now, go to X-ray, go to a top view. That's actually not too far off of what I actually want to end up with. So I'm going to try subdividing that right now. Okay, so it needs to come out a little further this way. It needs to pull back into kind of more of a point back here. If we go to the side view, whoops. That's not bad. All right, so one of the things I didn't do yet is nothing has been creased. And a crease, I'm gonna grab this line right here, and I'm gonna see if I can select a loop. Nope. So I'm just gonna walk around and grab the edges of this geometry. And I'm going to crease it. I'm gonna crease it 100%. I'm gonna keep it as high as you can go, and then I'm gonna hit subdivide again. And there you can see that's what crease did. It really holds that down to a sharp crease like this. Awesome, that looks good. What that did draw attention to is this looks a little awkward. I got these kind of cheeks sticking out back here. I'd rather have this kind of a little bit more in line with this. And then same thing up here. I got these almost hard bulges right here that kind of stick out. That shouldn't be happening. So what I'm going to do is make them not do that. pretty simple, right? Duh, just make it not do that. So I'm going to go back to Vertex Tools and start by grabbing these 2 points. Oop, I grabbed 3. I got to be careful. Shift it around a little bit, see if I can just get 2. There's a 1, there's a 2. Pull those in. All right, so that, I want to look, here, let's subdivide and see what that does to the overall shape. Subdivide, I like it from here. I have a feeling I'm going a little bit too, I think I'm getting a little too thin right here, so pull that back out there. The other thing I might try with this, again, I'm making this up as I go, but I might try just dropping them down and see how much that helps. Because that's going to give me more of a smooth cut here, so let's go ahead and subdivide that, see how that looks. That's a little better. Still a little bit of a harsh transition right here. I don't like the look of that. Nope, not going to work for me. Oh boy, Siri just got involved. So how would I go about fixing that? What I don't want to do is I don't want to add a whole bunch of new geometry for subdivision. Some people, and again, this goes to somebody's comment earlier that I should save. That one's, Victor's got me on that one. One of the things that somebody called out or asked about earlier was keeping models light. And subdivision, obviously by its nature, as you add more and more geometry, can get heavier and heavier pretty quickly. But something else that can happen is as you start to do this geometry, you can start breaking this down into smaller and smaller and smaller chunks. Not always a bad thing, but it can get a little rough sometimes. It can be a little bit too big. So one of the things that I would probably do in a situation like this is start adding loops. So what I want to do here is I want to pull this point in, kind of get it more in line with this line right here, but I don't want to lose my geometry right here. So the roundness of the back part of that body. So what I could do in that case is I could click a line here, and I could say select that, I can't remember which ones are ring, that ring, and then I can add a loop to that. Now if I just say insert loop, here's what I'm going to get. I'm going to get a break in that ring right in the middle. So the ring is that sequential set of parallel-ish lines. By saying insert loop, I get a cut right in the middle, which is not bad. But what I can do instead is I can actually use this same command I used before, which was the connected edges. By doing that, it'll start by putting just a single ring in there. But what I can do is I can actually come in here to segments, type in 2, and that's going to put those 2 segments down further apart from each other. The distance that they're apart is controlled by this 70. So if I put something like 80, you can see it moves where those are. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Actually, I'm going to even further 90. I want to get it right up against the edge, 90, and I'm going to hit enter to place that. I don't actually need this set of loops, or this loop right here though. So I can pick a line on it, I can say select loop, and I can delete the loop. So that's a nice way to use sub D to input that once, or to break that geometry once. Now I can grab Vertex Tools, grab 1, 2 points, and I can scale them together, and maybe even maybe we'll come up with a little bit smoother transition than that. Maybe we'll pull them forward a little, drop them down a little, bring them in a little, and then when we subdivide, end up with a smoother pattern there. So a little bit of fine-tuning still to do here. I might be able to pull that out a little bit. But you get the idea. Some people refer to this as being a control mesh that controls that smooth geometry. That's better. And you can see this is kind of cool. I like this. So look how far apart this ring right here is from this, or this loop is from this loop. And when I unsubdivide, look how close they go back together. That's a function of like this distance here. Actually, that's a function of a lot of math. So I'm not going to try to explain it because I can only look like I don't know what I'm talking about, and my explanation can only make you dumber. So I won't actually go into how that happens. Maybe if you guys ever see Tom at an event, he can explain to you how subdivision works. But it's, yeah, math happens, smoothness results. That's kind of the way that all works. All right. So I'm gonna say for right now, this moment in time, that's what I want my body to look like. My fuselage, excuse me. My fuselage will be done right now. That looks pretty cool. That looks all right. So next thing, what I am inclined to do next is this kind of I assume you call them engines, jet engines. There's probably a more technical name out there somewhere. The explodey fire part, I want to build that up. There's actually two of them too. So my inclination would be to build this as a single component mirrored on either side of the fuselage. See how fuselage just rolls off my tongue now? Like I meant to say it all the time and didn't call it the body of the plane like multiple times. I learn. All right, so this is where I may have to defer to some higher quality imagery because it looks like we got a couple things going on, right? I got this, I believe, is all one piece. It starts with this kind of parallelogram shape under the body right here, and then ends up in these two circles at the back end. You know what would be fun? Maybe we'll do this just for fun to start. Maybe we'll go engine intakes. That was totally the word I was going to use instead of parallel shape things. Maybe let's go model the intake and the jet exhaust. Does that sound like real? And then let's try to let's use an extension to just connect the two together and see what shape comes out of it. That could be just the kind of madness we enjoy here on this thing that we do. All right, so what I'm going to do is, I'm sure they're not quite this square, but I'm going to start with that. All right, and then back here, no, actually, I'm more thinking about what's back here, because that, I think, something like that. Okay. Get this standing upright. You guys do that? Every time I try to remember the green and red axes, I can't remember which is, unless I could see the axes when I get into a model, I don't think about which is which way is green, which one's red. I know they're there. So as soon as I try to align, I 9 times out of 10 hit the wrong one. I don't know what it is, but like law of averages said 50% of the time I should probably click the right one, right? But I swear, if you guys watch, you can call me out on it too. I won't be offended, but I seem to always hit the wrong one. I don't know what it is. So that I really wanted to, when I rotated up, I hit the wrong arrow key to begin with. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to move this up so it's right there, in line with that piece right there. I'm going to grab this thing right here, bring it back. Where can I see it? I can see it on the side. Let's go to a side view. I'm going to throw this onto my hold layer. It'll be a hold layer if it's all caps, because that's my thing. I'm going to turn that off. All right, and here we have this. And we already discussed that this front view is a little bit out of scale or out of sync with the rest of it. So I'm going to defer to my side view. I'm going to take the top of that parallelogram and scoot it up and scoot it forward. Grab the bottom of that parallelogram. I'm doing this in a parallel projection from the side. This is a service to some of you, because I've had a lot of people ask me why I don't do more modeling in a parallel mode. It's because reality happens in 3D. That's the best answer I can come up with. Okay, so that is where that front piece will go. This bottom piece, I'm just gonna grab the circle, slide it straight up to right there. All right, and that is almost what we need, but I gotta grab this one because that intake isn't straightforward. It actually comes back a little bit. So by grabbing those and moving them in the direction of the axes, the different ways around, actually created that in 2D, in a 3D space with 2D views. I'll go ahead and save right now. The severity with which Callie Draco just asked me to save, the exclamation point, leads me to believe that she's probably psychic and there's something bad's about to happen, so I have saved, trusting in that gift that she may or may not have. All right, I'm gonna take both of these. Oh man, yeah, I guess you can kind of see, look how that shape kind of goes this direction. I don't know. We all know there's a good chance that what I'm about to do will do nothing useful for us whatsoever. So let's hop right in. I do like this, how people are, who I assume they're speaking in code or they're talking. Oh, Callie's saying that because she just lost a file. Sorry, I hope it's not contagious. Are talking about stuff that happened in movies, and they're catching technical details that were missed. I don't know. They're talking about the ejection seat lock being engaged whilst flying, which I'm assuming is a bad thing that you wouldn't do, but I don't know. Not a plane guy, remember? And that's right. It's all the fun of movies. I was about to say something like, Tom Cruise doesn't even really do all that crazy stuff, but we all know that he does his own stunts and he takes this very seriously. So don't diss it. Don't talk bad about Tom Cruise. I don't care if you talk bad about Tom Cruise. All right, enough stalling. Tool palettes. Curve-aloft. And nope, I gotta. So for curve-aloft to work, I gotta have a path for the two shapes to connect through. So I'm gonna go from the middle of this rectangle shape. I'm just gonna go straight to the center of the circle. I think I can just select that and hit that. All right, so let's see what exactly that did for us. Let's turn this back on. Don't hate it. I want more out of it, but you know, that's not too bad. All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm going to grab all of this geometry and make it into a component. I'm assuming all of this together is going to be the engine or something like it. And I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna use one of my favorite new extensions. That is Curic Mirror. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a point that I know to be the middle of the fuselage. That's right here at the front of they still call it a windshield, cockpit windshield. And I'm gonna draw a line straight up on the blue axis and come straight back on the red axis and then draw a line back to that first line. This is my mirroring flag. This is something I started doing on the Millennium Falcon to just position where I want to mirror. And then I'm gonna grab Curic Mirror, I'm gonna hover over the surface of my flag, hold down Option key and click, and then I can delete my flag. That's gonna give me my two engine pieces. So now I can look at both of them. Again, because this is a component too, I can go in and make changes to this one, which will then reflect on the others. Canopy. Dave Richards and Stephen Frawley pointed out that that is actually a canopy, not a windshield or windscreen or whatever I called it. And just like as if he was in the forums, Dave beat somebody out by a fraction of a second with his answer. And literally, you guys, the timestamp on your comments are the exact same time. A windscreen is in the front and doesn't raise. That would probably be a problem if you have to get in and out of it, huh? All right, these look okay. This is initial geometry. We're conceptually modeling right now. I want a little more loft or bulk to them. If I look at this picture down back here, see they kind of swoop down and then, so I got, rather than this just straight thing here, I kind of end up with a little bit of a loft or a little bit of a drop, a little bit of a droop in the body. This looks pretty cool. I don't hate the way this looks right now, but I want more. So I'm kind of wondering what would be the best solution right here. Let's see if we got some comments that will help me out yet. I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna come in here. I'm going to explode this surface and reverse it. There we go. And now we're looking more at a better representation of what we got there. Yeah, like I said, not bad, but it doesn't seem to have the body that I want. I used Curveloft to create this shape right here. The second command in Curveloft is loft along path. Yes, loft along path. So I created the surface of my intake and my I don't remember what it was called. You guys have to remind me again. The exhaust nozzle, was that it? I modeled those two shapes along with the line between to create that. So now I'm thinking, how could I go in and bulk that up? I'm thinking of a couple things, but oh, sorry, yeah, I mirrored with Keurig mirror. I didn't read the whole thing. One of the things I was thinking of was taking this face right here and breaking it maybe into 4 pieces. And then taking those pieces and using soap, skin, and bubble to kind of make them bubble out. But I don't know if that's probably not worth it. That's probably not the ideal way to do that. All right, I got to get out of this parallel projection. It's making my eyes bulge and my brain wilt. So I think, well, I'll try it. I have no reason not to. Let's see. And this is because I did something wrong in Vertex Tools and it wants to let me know about it. That's that Vertex tool thing that keeps popping up every time I select something. All right, so there we go. So that is now this shape broken into 4 pieces. I probably wouldn't mess with this inside shape. That really doesn't, I don't know. But these pieces right here, if you look at it from the top, I'm out of parallel, but you can see it does have a little bit of a, like just right back here, you can tell it kind of comes out a little bit like that. So this is one of 2 ways. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I like to use different extensions and see what happens. No, actually this is not gonna work. Because I know it's not. Because it'll keep those seams. I won't get a increased volume there. Steven is saying he's got to run. Steve, thanks for coming by. This video in its entirety will live in perpetuity on YouTube, so feel free to swing by anytime to watch. So, okay, here's kind of what I'm thinking. Well, no, I don't. I'm arguing with myself, so give me a sec. I'm kind of thinking we could actually do, see, soap, skin, and bubble won't fill this whole thing. I can try it, but if I grab this whole piece right now and I go, I have to go actually enable. Soap, skin, and bubble, for those of you who don't know, is a classic. It's an older tool, and it's actually a little bit of a troublemaker because it does not honor if you turn the UI on and off, it always shows up, so I end up disabling it sometimes. All right, if I grab just this surface right now, actually grab just the lines, and I hit skin, yeah, it's just gonna skin one face down at the end. Let's see, if I break it, all right, something to do with showing hidden geometry is triggering, triggering Vertex Tools. So let's see, if I do that, and then, so now I have just the edges around. Can I put one soap skin on that? Nope. Sure can't. Thanks for asking. I might have to, the only way to clear that error message from Vertex Tools is to restart SketchUp. So if it keeps happening, I might have to do that. So here's the couple of things I'm thinking. Oh, all right. Crazy idea. Let's see if this works. I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna go to Tool Palettes. And we'll see if there's something in Fredo Scale that'll let us scale this thing. There's some tools in here that do some stuff that it blows my mind. So we got tapering and shearing. I kind of want to do a reverse taper, if that makes sense. Wonder if I could do that. Let's try it. Let's try some box tapering. What happens if I grab this in the middle and pull it up? No, that just makes the whole thing bigger. No. It looks like it needs to slant more. You're saying it needs to come, because it doesn't it look like it's curved? Is that just me? Am I the only one seeing that? Because if I come here and draw a line from here to here, it definitely bulges down a little bit. I'm trying to figure out how to do this without basically, I was really trying to come up with a new way to do this, I'll be honest. My inkling would probably be to, well, you know what, let's do this. I'm gonna leave it as is for right now. I'm gonna continue building, get some more geometry on here, and we'll come back here and talk about what we might do to change that once we get, maybe by the time we're done, we'll have made the AF18G or H or the F18S for SketchUp, because it's gonna be a whole new design. Air Force is gonna be all over it. They're gonna commission me to use SketchUp to draw airplanes from now on. That's probably how this will all go. Or not. All right. So I'm gonna save that as it is. And I'm going to come in here. I'm gonna do the same thing where I'm gonna grab my two engines. I'm gonna throw them on the hold layer as well. And turn hold off. And I'm gonna start by drawing just this just as a 2D shape, this section right here. Yeah, we'll go, when we come back, we'll look at some reference pictures. If you guys can find any awesome reference pictures of that section of the body where the engines tie up into the fuselage and wings, can you throw them onto our forum? Go to the forum and look for the live modeling a Super Hornet thread and give me some reference models if you find them, because that would be really cool. That would be super helpful. All right, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna draw a line right down the middle of this, and I'm going to start with some rather rough line segments. I believe this right here is actually a hinge. I believe that the wings actually, yeah, I think that's what this is right here. I think they fold up for storage on an aircraft carrier, which is also cool. All right, that's the piece I need. So I'm gonna grab this, make it a component. I'm gonna call it a wing. And my inkling right now, okay, so I was gonna show you this. I was gonna grab it and copy it over to make a copy. Did you guys see what I hit the first time that I went to constrain was the green axis, which is the wrong direction to flip it? I don't know. I guess that's just my thing. But I don't want to flip it anyhow because flipping it like this takes it and turns it upside down. So that means if I add bulk to this wing, as I bulk it out, my other wing is going to be opposite. So what I want to do actually is I want to take it, make a copy of it. This is my workflow, stick it over on the side. Right click and flip along the green axes, make it backwards, and then grab that and connect them like that. Then I'll take those as they are right now, both of them, and I'll raise them vertically. I'll go to my side view, but again, remember, I'm in my warped perspective, so I do have to go to my camera, go to a parallel projection, and then get those lined up right there with the wings. All right, now let's see what we got going on here. So it looks like where it ties in to the body, it kind of swoops up both directions, like kind of like that. And actually it kind of looks like that through the whole thing. What I might do, what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna do what I do. Sometimes I start giving like a reason why I'm going to do what I'm doing, and I'm just because I am. That's the reason. I am going to take this shape. I'm going to push it up like this. All those pieces, nuts. To give me this. And that's cool, but I also going to offset it down. And I will explain why. And with each one, I'm not just push pulling, but I'm option push pulling to give me a new surface because I want to keep this seam in the middle. And I'll show you why just in 1 minute. All right, that's what I'm looking for. Obviously, that's a horrible mess. Inside faces, outside faces, all that kind of thing happen. But that's what I'm looking for to make this wing. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get rid of the interior faces with Solid Inspector. Nah, Solid Inspector's not gonna, it's gonna try to delete stuff instead. I can fix my reverse faces. Oh, there we go. Fix internal faces. Boom. All right, so we just have the exterior. The reason I did that, the reason I wanted to do that is, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here with Vertex Tools, grab this point and this point, not the middle one, just the one above and below, and I'm gonna pull it straight back. Same thing over here, I'm gonna grab 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm gonna pull them in like this. We got some images. Ooh, sweet images showing up on the forum right now. That's awesome. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm gonna grab these 8 total, I think, pieces or points, vertices, and scoot them back. Oops. Let's try it again. I had too many selected. I wasn't watching, like I said. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna pull those straight back like this. Back to the point they get a fairly parallel cut right there. And now I will come in and grab these 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And push those back in this way. Basically, I'm creating a knife edge all the way around. And funny enough, when I modeled a sub D knife, this is exactly how I did it. All right, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll take those ones and slide them in this way. All right, so with that, if I select and subdivide that, oops, not scale, I get something like that. So that's looking initially all right. Obviously, I got a crease happening in the middle. I can fix that right now. We'll unsubdivide. We'll head in here and go to component and hide similar components. And what I can do is I can actually, by deleting this inside face, it'll automatically crease this surface all the way around. So when I subdivide, it'll keep it flat right there. All right, so that looks okay. I do have this weird break right here, and I can see kind of, I'm looking at the images that Ellie is posting, and it is kind of it's an interesting shape. This section of the wing tapers down into basically what looks like a flat section right here, wing. So I will save. Thank you for the gentle reminder, the kind reminder. So that's one thing. Here's another thing. This right here is pretty well creased. So I may grab that, slide that up to pull that in as a little bit more like that. I will. Subdivision levels. Every time you increase your subdivision level, you add 4 times the geometry. So I generally find that subdivision level 1 is a little bit too clunky for my needs. So I usually pull it back. I do a lot of my subdivision at level 2. It can go all the way up to 4, and if I'm exporting for a render or gonna 3D print something I want it to be smooth, I'll go all the way up to 4 for export. But for most of my working, I usually do my work in 2. Sometimes I'll hop to 3 just for a second, but it ends up sometimes in some models it's so much geometry that it actually slows you down to check that kind of thing. All right, so I kind of like this. I kind of like how this is looking right now. It's definitely a wing. It does look like in the pictures, and actually in our own reference, it does kind of basically square off at the end. I put that knife edge all the way around, but it looks like I have to kind of flatten that out. So I need to fix that, and then I got to get this. This is actually more like what happens. So this wing part comes down and dies into this, and this remains flat. So I can do that with creasing also. I'll actually crease all the way around here. First, I'm going to come in here, grab this line, and this line, and this line, and this line. And Vertex Tools, 9 out of 10 times I use this widget right here, which has the move, scale, and rotate controls all in one spot. But for something like this, I want to move these points out so they're directly in line with these points right here. I'm actually going to use the move control, which let me pick a point and there we go. Use shift and inference out to the end like that to get a nice flat surface like that. I might connect this all together like that just to make it nice and clean looking. All right, so that's good. So if I will grab, can I grab this as a loop? Can I just say grab my loop? Nope. All right, I'm gonna grab these all the way around like this. And I'm going to crease those up to 100, That way when I hit subdivide, it'll stay flat on the end there. And then I need to do the exact same thing. I got to get out of camera. Get out of parallel while I do this. Grab this, I'm going to unsubdivide, and same thing here. I'm going to grab all these pieces all the way around like this. I'm going to crease those. I'll just take those to 100% too, and we'll look at how that subdivides now. All right, closer. Something's not. Sometimes it's obvious that something's not quite right. I don't know what that is, but doesn't look aerodynamic to me. So something pulled. Something's pulling weird right here. So let's see if we can fix that. There we go. So you can crease points as well as lines. So that's why it was pulling back so weird, is because that point was not actually creased. Same thing down here. Click on the point, crease it to 100, or one hole at 1.0. That'll be good. Same thing is happening right here. I don't know if you notice that this is, I definitely got rid of my smooth curve, a little bit more of a sharper cut here, but this pulled out when I creased. So if I grab that point, I might be able to pull that back. Yeah, there we go. All right. That's a pretty sweet looking wing right there. All the wings I've seen today, that's totally one of them. I'm gonna turn my hold off and check and see. Oh, just had a moment. You know what it looks like? And I'm gonna throw some dated geek culture, but remember the original Starscream from Transformers? It's kind of, I'm getting a Starscream vibe right now. Go put some silver, red, and blue on there. All right, time to hop in here and acknowledge all my contents, or all the comments I have ignored. So you guys probably told me everything I should have done, and I ignored every bit of it. So, ENT is saying that to get that bulge shape in here, what would probably be best to do is actually put some sequential loft points, loft shapes. So rather than lofting from just the rectangle directly back to the circle, I could actually have some shapes along the way that kind of cause it to get bigger and then smaller. Because it does look, if you look at it, oh, there's a good one on the forum right now. I can't drag a window from that computer to this computer. Just doesn't work. If I take a look at this image right here, you see that for about halfway, it is just like a bulging cylinder, and then it has kind of a quick cut into a more of a rectangular shape. So we'll do that. We'll actually go do that in just a second, and that's a great picture. Thank you very much for posting that. Just a cool looking vehicle, isn't it? Isn't that awesome? And I've heard, you guys can tell me if this is wrong, but I've heard this thing that looks like it's going to be a big bomb or something on the bottom. That's actually a fuel tank. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard. Because fighters don't carry bombs. I'm going back to like Top Gun 1, feeling embarrassed for thinking that there was a bomb on the bottom when it was a gas tank, or a fuel tank. Also, fuel, jet fuel, not gas. So yeah, so maybe we'll come back and fix that. But first, I gotta marvel some more. I gotta look some more at this these wings. Pretty sweet. I do think that they need to come back a little bit. See how they kind of kick back right here? So I may come in here, unsubdivide. Sometimes unsubdividing does that. It makes the reverses the faces. I'm gonna turn my hold stuff off. I'm gonna grab this piece right here and start by sliding it back. I'm gonna grab these pieces. I just did that with regular move too. That was nothing. There we go. That gave me more of the shape I'm looking for. Resubdivide. Awesome. Sorry, back to comments. Needs more slant. There's a bulge towards the front of the canopy where it meets the windscreen. Saying this right here needs to be smoothed out. You're right. Got a little bit of a bump right there. Johnny's asking about posting the forum. If you go to our SketchUp forum, which is forums.sketchup.com, try to keep it as simple as possible. It's a community user forum. It's an awesome place to get any information on SketchUp. You get help with anything you need. It's also where we share files when we do these live models. So hopefully that's a new tool for you to use with your SketchUp as you learn SketchUp. It's a great spot. So we obviously we do things like this. We do our weekly videos, that kind of thing. But a lot of times if you come up with, I have an issue with the model I'm working on right now, I need help. It can be tough for me or any of the other staff members to actually look at your model and help you fix your model, that kind of thing. That's a rough thing for us to be able to do for everybody. But the forum is a way that, if possible, we can help you out, but there's other users on there who will help answer questions. And that's great. I mean, there's some people, some of those guys are on here right now. Dave was on here earlier. I saw Dave Richards he's still here. Dave will answer your question potentially before you ask it. So go up there, start posting questions, and Dave will take care of you in supersonic speed. But yeah, the forum's great. If you don't use the forum right now, I highly recommend hopping on there and using it because it's a great way to learn SketchUp, and it's an awesome community to be part of. I say that totally unbiasedly. I've loved the I have loved the SketchUp community for years and years and years before I was lucky enough to join the team. So, all right, I'm gonna go address my bump. I think this is gonna be as simple as going to Vertex Tools and grabbing, oops, I go back to my widget, grabbing these 2 points and sliding them down. I don't want to taper them in too much, but that might be enough. Let's see. That's better. All right, we're coming along. We got some things going on now. I'm feeling good about this. Correct, it is fuel. Yep. Oh, it can carry bombs, Stephen pointed out. All right, so we seem to be, I'll go through the same process to create the tail on here, which is 2 pieces. So coming out of the back of the jets, I have this tail piece, and then I have these upright ones coming. Where do they join? They join to the jet as well, it looks like. So let's come in here. Let's address this thing. What this would be I'm gonna try to get that picture up from the forum on my other monitor so I can see. So what I would be naturally inclined to do is almost cut. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. My brain's doing things right now. What I'm thinking of doing is creating a series of vertical planes that I can use, and actually I want to do these out of context. All right, so I'm going to throw my wings onto the whole layer, and one engine, I only want to work on one engine, is going to come out to the main layer, so I can turn that off. I just want to work on this right now. I'm going to draw a vertical plane, something that I can use to intersect with this geometry. and then pull this through to where I want those breaks in geometry to be. So if I go, I'm going to go again to my parallel projection. I'm going to move this back. I think I want to have a break in geometry here. That'll be like, it's kind of middle of the bulge there. Then I'm going to take this line, I'm going to copy it and bring it back to, it's like just in, actually the back end of the wing is one piece, and then right about here, this section is where it translates from like elliptical into my rectangular shape. And then I'm going to grab one more and pull it right up here close to the very end. All right. So what that lets me do now, I'm going to grab all three of these surfaces, right click and say intersect face with model. And that gives me this. So that gives me these three shapes. That's exciting, I know. That's a start. So that gives me what I have now at those intersection points. Which is okay. And you said they're not beautiful. They're not gorgeous things because I only have. This happens when you do a loft that's this long. How the curve loft software is going to translate a surface here to a surface that is on a circle all the way back here, you end up with these kind of ridges. They get smoothed out. You can't really see them in SketchUp, but they are there. Hopefully what I'm about to do will help with some of that. All right, so I'm going to take these shapes one at a time and adjust them to be what I want at that point. I think with this one right here, I'm going to start with about a center shape, and I'm going to pull a circle that is a little bit bigger than what was here before. And then I may end up actually squeezing that vertically to make it a little bit narrower this way. I'm going to take that shape and I'm going to put it, I didn't make my center line. And this is approximately center too, because I'm dealing with some funky shapes. All right, so I'm going to grab this from the center, option, and put it at the midpoint there. Yeah, that's right. And then get rid of these. Actually, here, I'll just triple click all of that, go to extensions cleanup. I'm going to save. I haven't saved for a while. Cleanup, merge faces, cleanup, erase stray edges. That's a little 1-2 punch, help you clean up your geometry. All right, right here, I want to take this and I want to kind of, from the spirit of this shape, into a normal view here, the spirit of this shape, I want to create kind of a rounded rectangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend these lines back out to give me my corner points. As you can see, every corner here is rounded over just a little bit as that loft is going from the rectangle back to, oops, lost it, got lost. That's pretty close. All right, and what I'm going to do now is make that a group, and I'm going to come in with an arc, pull it up to the largest side. So rather than connecting these corners with just a regular straight line to make a rectangle, I'm going to use my arcs to bulge out the sides just ever so slightly. And that's going to give me kind of a, like I said, a a rounded rectangle rather than just the straightforward, you know, rectangle, rectangle. All right, there we go. So that's what I have right now. Get rid of this group, put this one back here. All right, get some extra geometry there. I don't know what that was about. And then this shape is also what I will put down here. So then I'll do a series of lofts basically. That from the middle there, option, the middle here. So now I can loft my front shape into this one into this one, this one into this one, this one into this one, and that one to my nozzle. But I do want to take advantage just a little bit because it does look like, so this one I think is a little bit bigger because it does kind of get a little bit wider, bigger, but it's also narrower. And this one's not bigger, but it is narrower. And then both of these we rotated over to be more in line with this shape. I said that with authority like I knew what was going to happen, but we're in uncharted territory right now. So let's see what happens. All right. I'm going to put this one back on layer 0, turn off that. I'm going to come in here, delete my surface. All right, so these are the shapes that may possibly make the perfect geometry to represent our engine. We'll see what happens. All right, so what I'm going to do is, since this is a component, I'm going to grab all this new geometry, Command X, double click into the component, and paste in place. And let's see, I'll grab these. Whoop. What was that? I have a component hidden in here, or a group or a container somewhere in here. Take those two surfaces and let's see how. So my one question with this is the part that I get stuck on. Maybe you guys can help me. So if I want to loft from this piece to this piece, do I have to, will that do it? Okay, so I don't know. I'm skeptical. All right, I'm gonna take, oh no, my lines. I'm hopping out of context. Everything's falling apart. All right, let's take this. All right. How do I keep doing this? My gosh. X. Go back in context. Some days you eat the bar. All right, let's loft that again. Something weird happened there, but I'm just gonna run with it. Well, it's definitely a thing. Let's take a peek at how this all. I'm totally not fighting the urge to make sound effects as it flies overhead. You are. All right, I think that's definitely closer. I think that's off. Yeah, I probably could have done that a lot smoother. I'm a big fan of drama, and I really wanted to make you guys like edge of your seats kind of thing. I like the way most of that worked out. I think I want to bring these two circles back closer together, and it looks like, if we, all these images, it looks like the engines basically come up above the wing from about like this point. So I kind of feel like everything needs to just step up. But I mean, that might actually be as simple as grabbing both of these and doing that. Almost. Not quite. Nope. Yeah, somehow Vertex Tools has become attached to my undo. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, so I can get rid of this. And then I'm gonna grab this, 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 and this. I'm gonna scale them vertically a little bit. All right, and then I should be able to grab all this. So that pretty much, I think I hit the wrong thing. I'm gonna not accept that. Whoops. Oi. Sometimes it's Friday all day long, and it just. All right, that's not too bad. We're getting there. We are getting, oh, we are so getting there. Look at that. That's awesome. There's a weird thing. There's a thing. I don't quite know what happened here. Okay, so this looks good. I like this. I think I want it to be a little wider here. No, maybe not. Actually looks pretty good. Actually looks real good. Let me try lofting just these two together real quick, because I don't know why that one. All right, that looks better. I'll grab all of these, loft those all together. All right. Yeah, it just wanted special attention. It's a movie star after all. You know how they are. Okay. Man. Oops. All right, let's take a look at the whole thing now. That is looking. Whew, that looks good. That looks. All right. Yep. Sound effects work. Cool. So I'm kind of feeling like last couple big things that are missing still are our tail fins. So we got them coming off here. There's kind of nozzles here. I'm not disagreeing with you, Daniel, but intake opening should be slightly different. Leaves me with a little information I don't know what to do with. So if you want to explain what you mean by should be different, I'm willing to listen to that. All right, I'm deleting real quick my extra geometry. And then I'm going to explode my two groups. Select all that and re-soften it to get rid of that seam in the middle. All right, and then right here, I'm going to reverse faces. And I'm just going to do real simple right now. I'm going to push, pull, whoops. I'm going to offset and push, pull that in. Actually, what I should do is I'm going to go use joint push pull, another extension, and I'm going to use, oh, those are tiny, tiny, tiny letters above there. I think that is V for vector push pull. And grab that and let's see. Yep, do a red push pull and just pull that straight back like that. Yeah, I know, I heard you. Oh man, that's pretty sweet. All right, something happened right here that I'm gonna have to fix. I'm not sure. Something with the loft went a little haywire. So I'm just gonna delete these broken geometry pieces in here. And there we go. Delete the extra lines. And that's not really a function of anything in particular, I don't think, other than that being really small geometry. Speaking of extra geometry. All right, there we go. You guys, that's pretty sweet right there. That is one good looking thing. Save. All right. Yeah, I was thinking, so I only modeled this, these pieces right here only came up to here. I didn't actually model the nozzles because I thought the same thing, Marconi, that those would be cool pieces to put on there. So this was actually where this spot, the gray spot, ends. I'm sure there's some nice pictures of, well, now you guys are thrusters versus nozzles. You guys go plane talk that out. All right, it's looking good. I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna come into these and I'm gonna soften those. Given the time, I don't think I'm gonna go back and modify this much more, so I'm gonna just soften and make these look good. Boom. Ho, 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 ho. Look at that thing. That's one good looking thing. Okay, I'm gonna do, here's how I'm going to do these two fins. Fins? Is that the right term? I don't know if I'm even using the right term. But I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna draw this geometry. Stay on surface. Tail fins, that's right? That sounds, that's why I say things, it sounds wrong, but I'm pretty sure fins is a correct. Oh good, so there is a picture of the, that's nice. Jimmy's let me know that there is a detailed picture without wings on the forum. Okay, so I'm going to just do that. That's going to be my tail fin. So basically, same deal, same way I made the wings, just smaller. I'm going to delete that, and there we go. Oops, don't have a line down here. So that, I'll just do this right now. So I'm going to grab these lines right here and slide those straight back. Grab these lines right here, move them straight forward. And it looks like this, there's the tapers out on the end here too. If I use move here, I will likely get some weird auto fold geometry. So I'm going to hop back into Vertex Tools and just slide that in. Something like that. All right, and then I can orient faces, get the white faces out all the way. Control X to cut that. And I'll come in here and I'm going to paste in place to put exactly where it was, and then raise it vertically. It actually does, it hangs out past, I thought something was wrong, but that's actually the way, it's exactly how it looks. So I'll have to come in here and do something about this. Specifically, let's see, I'm gonna drop a line vertically right. Of course it's not vertical, that would be a little too easy. Looks like actually I could raise this up to be in the middle. So I'm gonna go grab middle, bring it right to there. I'm gonna drop a line from here straight down, which should hit that. Pull line straight back. I'm just gonna go far. Same thing here. Straight back. Just trying to create a surface that would let me cut. There we go. Like this. This. Oops. That's what I want. Something's not quite right here. Something's amiss. Oh. What happened there? Nope, that shouldn't be there. That should be there. Oh, that's not vertical. Is it? It's just off vertical. That's the problem. Okay, we can fix this. We can, everything's cool. There we go. Why is my triangle not closing? Now when a triangle won't close, you know you got some issues. Because a triangle is basically the most basic geometry you can have. All right, so reverse those faces. Get rid of some extra geometry. What I want to do here is I want to grab these lines right here. I'm going to crease them to 100% so I keep that hang out. It actually hangs out over the edge like this. And then right here, I want to make this into a quad. Right now, this is two triangles. But what I can do is I can select this line right here, and I can say soften, smooth, and turn off cast shadows. The subdivision engine recognizes cast shadows for some, that's actually how it does some of the magic that it does. So I'm going to take that now. I'm going to make this, whoops. Oh, I just merged geometry. Who was watching me? Someone didn't pay attention to what Aaron was doing. probably should take responsibility, but I don't wanna. All right, so I'm gonna grab that geometry and make it into a group, and then soften that. And I just created, let's hide the rest of the model. I just created basically a non-quad, or an n-gon as they call it in the biz. So I gotta go back and quad it up again. All right, still an n-gon because this has too many faces. So I'm gonna just make a quick repair to this. Sure, no inside faces. All right, that looks nice. Let's take that to subdivision 2. There we go. That's exactly what I'm looking for. These are pretty square corners though. So I'm gonna go into crease, and I think I might be able to just crease these points to pull them out. Looks like all these edges will actually crease to 100%. And then probably time to save. So smart. You guys are the best at stuff. All right, there we go. Because if you look at the images, those really, they do hold those sharp corners. They don't swoop around on those, that particular piece. Oh, same thing on the vertical ones though. They're just really nice angled pieces. I probably could have done that without subdivision actually. All right, but I'm gonna soften that. No, why are you not going away? Huh. I don't really care what the reason is. I'm just gonna just soften them myself. There we go. All right, so let's see how that, oh, every time everything comes back. SketchUp has 100 undo levels, and I don't know anything other than, I don't know if you can undo a revert. I think if you revert to a previously saved version, I don't know that you can undo that. Other than that, I don't know if there's anything that you can't undo. You do have to be careful because some actions, especially those done by extensions, can actually be multiple events all happening at once. So what may look like, oh, I hit a button and this extension just draws this thing, may actually internally be that extension going through and drawing, and doing like 50 different steps in order to do that one thing. Depending on how that is stacked, it may take up half of your undo stack, or it may actually end up just being one piece. So it really depends on that. But undo can be a little funny that way with extensions. You can see some behavior that you don't expect. All right, one last piece to put on here. And that is this piece. Take that straight across. This is a weird piece because it is angled, so I might have to, unlike before where I bulked it out beforehand, I think I'm going to keep it as one piece like this right now and get it lined up and potentially actually, let's do this thing out of context. I'm going to bring this way, and then we're going to go to parallel projection, Oh, so cool looking. All right, so there we go. All right, so it looks like there's probably some very scientific numbers around exactly what angle this is at, but I'm gonna eyeball it. All right, I'm gonna pull this way a little bit. Lock in the green axes. Draw that line a little bigger. All right, so that's what we got going on. Purple inferencing, there you go. All right, so that is not gonna work for us. We've established that, I forgot, that this is not a perfect representation. So I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna slide, again, in the spirit of very sound, no doubt, aerodynamic investigation, I'm just gonna put that where I think it looks best. All right, and I'm gonna take it and do the same thing. This is just a four-sided piece, so this one's actually really simple because I can just do an offset this direction. Get rid of that line. Offset this direction, and then, ooh, here's what I really should have done first. I'm gonna take all this, make it into a group, and come into the group, and I'm gonna reassign my axes. Where do I have a 90-degree corners? What about up here? There we go. Now I can grab these two lines, whoops. Oh, fat fingers. All right, so now I can grab these two lines, move them along. No, I might have to use Vertex Tools again. And Vertex Tools is automatically aligns the world axes, but you can right click and tell it to align to local. So that will allow you to align it to local geometry. So now I can take that and do what I want. Let's do these two first. What camera view am I in? That's, whew, it's killing me. All right, let's grab these four axes and then we push those along the blue. Oops, did not get all of the right ones. I grabbed too many. These two and these two, push those in along the blue. And then one more time, grab this guy and this, and that will go, I'm going along the blue too. I got a little ugly there, but that'll be buried. We won't see that. All right, so let's subdivide that. Subdivide. Perfect, just like in the reference image. All right, I grab this, this, and this, and I'm going to crease that to 100%. I'm also going to delete the inside face here. All right, and let's try subdividing that. Closer. Last thing I gotta do is take my points, take them up to 100%. All right, and now I can grab that, cut, bring it in here, paste in place, come in here, soften that up. Stabilizers. That's right. I was just going to tell you that that's what those were. Those are stabilizers. Probably time to save. Yeah, so what do you guys think? How's that looking? Only 2 hours and 15 minutes into this thing. Well, really 2 hours because I talked so much at the beginning. Maybe that nose should be a little pointier. Uh-oh, says I am locked up. Let's check that out. Looks good, looks good. Well, probably time for some armaments or something. Looking at it, is there anything that's screaming, fix me? I don't think so. So we could go in and put our, I already forgot what we called them. The, you know, things. Back things. Do you remember what they are? Hi, Pow. Which I have apparently a good picture of. Oh, this is going to be cake. All right, here's what we're going to do here. Thruster nozzles. That's right. I'm going to offset these. This is based on all the research I've done over the last minute. I'm going to take, I'm going to push pull this out ever so slightly because there is a transition there. That looks perfect. Oops. It'll still be okay. And then I'm actually going to draw a circle with 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 10 sides. This is no longer a circle, so I'm gonna find the middle the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna draw a 10-sided circle like that. And then I'm going to push pull this out. Grab and unsoften this. Oh. Let me grab this polygon and explode the curve. Then I'll pull this out. And then I will grab this. And there we go. That was easy. A little too easy. It's probably wrong. When something goes that well, you probably didn't do it correctly. It's okay. We won't be actually flying this anywhere. So this has, it looks like rockety kind of shapes out here on the end. They're cylinders with a point and some fins on the front and back. They look like fun shapes to draw. This, I feel like, what happens if I just scale this down? Is that gonna, no, that's not bad. Yeah, that feels better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw this right here. They are AIM-9 Sidewinder missiles on the wingtips. That's awesome. I'm gonna bump my circle back up to 24. They look like they're just slightly larger than the end of the tip of the wing. So I'm gonna start with this. We can resize it as we need. It does go a little ways past the end. It comes out a little bit like this. All right, and then it looks like what it does then is it has a cone on the tip, and then there is 3 apparently they're it's like different in each picture. It looks like there's 3 fins at the front, small fins, and then 3 fins larger at the back. So I'm just going to go with that. All right, to draw this cone, I'm going to do something like this. Pretty simple. Get my rectangle on there like that, and put an arc. Something like that. Get rid of this extra geometry. Grab this circle and follow me with that. Pretty simple, like I said, easy. That was an easy one. 4 on the front, 4 on the back. Okay, triangles on the front, trapezoids on the back. We'll get trapezoidal on this thing in a second. All right, so I'm gonna grab this and make it a group so I can isolate my geometry. I'll come here to the front. And it looks like maybe back something like this. Trapezoidal? That's probably not the right term. All right, I'm going to go vertical. This can be tough when you have that extra geometry. So it's always good to get to a point where it doesn't get in your way. They're at 45 degrees. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to offset this just slightly because I want geometry. I'm not a fan at all of when people just put one-sided faces, because things have depth. Even a piece of paper has some depth to it. So I don't get upset about modeling practices. You can do your thing the way you want to do, unless you do that, in which case you're dead to me. All right, so having said that, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this one. And we'll go at 45 degrees is what Steven's telling me, so we'll take this first one to 45. All right, and then I will do a rotation again. We'll start here, we'll go Option to copy, drop it to 90 degrees, X3, and we have our front fins. And then we'll come back here to the back to put the trapezoidal fins on. I'm going to do the same thing. I know even if they get rotated to 45, I'm still going to find the top axes and draw there. The reason for that, of course, is just up is up. Trying to draw everything at 45 degrees is going to be painfuler. I'm going to also start by drawing a rectangle. And then I can just use my, whoops. Oh, wait. 3D mouse is getting funky. All right, I'm going to grab this point. Grab this point, slide it forward. It looks like it's something like that on reference photos. Yeah, I like it. All right, I'm going to push-pull the exact same as the other fin. I'm going to triple-click to select the whole fin and move it back in line so it's centered on that line. Now I will again, just like I did before, move it to 45, and then Option copy to 90 degrees, X3, there we go. I'm going to grab all that now, make that into a component. Sidewinder. You know, I've had a handful of Kenny Loggins references, and I totally get it. That would be awesome. Again, this is where, if only we had a mat. If we had a mat, we would probably have some danger zone happening right now. Alas, no mat. We're matless. So I can't. Honestly, a lot of the stream is setting up beforehand and then hitting a button and then doing everything, and then at the end hitting some more buttons and stopping things. I can handle that part. It's all the other stuff, like, remember when the Porg popped up? That kind of stuff. Here's what would happen. You'd be like this. I'd be talking to me like, uh-huh. Yeah, hold on. Uh-huh. And then a thing like that would happen, and I'd be stuck behind Mark, and then I'd have to go back over here again, uh-huh, and turn him off. So that's why we don't have highway to the danger zone or any flyover noises or pictures of goose popping up. None of that's happening because I'm a loner now. I'm a loner, Dottie. I'm gonna take this Sidewinder now and we wanna put it on the other side. I'm gonna do the same thing with Curic Mirror. I'm gonna make my flag. So here's I have a very solid middle point right here. I could probably just leave this. And then I'm gonna use the axes to create a surface. And there's my flag. I can grab this, mirror, hover over my flag face, option click to copy, and there we go. A pair of Sidewinders. You know, in my images, they're all looking a lot longer than that, so I'm gonna come in here and something more like that. All right, Command S, saved again. All right. It does look like it has a couple more, depending on the image. I have a handful more missiles underneath, so I'm just gonna. I'm gonna be kind of a little fast and cheap on this, I admit. I'm gonna just snap these to a couple points under the wing. And I'm going to drop them vertically. Whoop, not that much. Nope. And maybe I'll just grab those two. Should have left my flag up. Except it looks like, I don't know. Kind of looks goofy. Little flag flopping in the wind in the front of the plane. Yeah, I don't love that, but it's temporary. Oop, I did something wrong. It didn't happen. All right, select. Curic. However, oh, I think I moved off. Where'd they go? Maybe I just didn't do it. Option click. There we go. All right, take the training flag off there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, exactly. That's what I keep thinking of. This is a bicycle flag every time I look at that thing. All right, so I'm gonna clean a little bit up here, get rid of that. Man, that's pretty sick looking. I'm pretty happy about that. Every single picture I'm seeing though does have that tank in the middle of the bottom. Like literally every picture except for, ooh, Jim just put up a sweet picture of the actual Sidewinder. It's cool. I kind of want to take that in and just model that in high detail now. Maybe next time, we'll see. I don't want to get too missile happy over here, but yeah. All right, what time we got right now? It's 2:30. This actually went way quicker than I was expecting it to. But just to think about what else we could do here. One thing, I like it the way it is. I don't really want to put that big tank on the bottom. I think this looks awesome. You just want to try and see if we can make this a solid, minus the missiles. Those can be their own solids, maybe. But should we go through and try to use solid tools and connect all this stuff and see what happens? You guys, would that be cool? Landing gear's good, but I I have a feeling with the amount of detail I have right now, it's going to end up looking cartoony. So we could do that, but let's see. Let's see how long it takes to make a solid first. And then we'll come back and add things or talk about other stuff. Let's save it right now. You're right. All right, I'm gonna grab all of this. It's locked, so I can't put it on another layer. All right, I'm gonna take and temporarily unlock these. I'm gonna add these to a ref layer. And then I will relock them. That's something I normally do up front when I pull in my reference stuff, is I put it on its own layer. That way I can toggle it real quick and easy and turn it on and off. I didn't do it that time. I'm gonna take all of this now and put it back on layer 1, so I have nothing on hold. Nothing goes away when I toggle hold. And we can take this. All right, I'm gonna save. And we'll start by going through and making sure everything is a solid. So the body's solid right now. And that's it. Everything else is not a solid. I'm gonna double click right here, hide the rest of my model, and I know the problem here is I left it open on the side. So this should be as simple as drawing a section across here and forcing it to close that. And that could be all I need to do to make that solid. Boom, step 1. All right, let's get our solid toolbars out here. Pardon me. Solid tools. And we will union these two. New solid group, which we'll union with this other copy of component. All right, one big happy solid so far. All right, back here on one of these we have a couple pieces already. So this has 1, 2 groups, and then this geometry. So I'll start here, and same thing. This should be as simple as it wasn't as simple as. All right, let's try. It doesn't have that many pieces, so I might be able to just real quickly stitch this like this. Again, I don't care what the geometry on the inside of this piece looks like, because as soon as it's a solid, it's getting joined with the other geometry, and this is all going away. So I don't have to smooth that. I really don't need to mess with that at all. The only thing I need to do right now is come out here, select it, run Solid Inspector, because I think I created an internal face just when I was stitching, and that now becomes a solid group. Awesome. Check this one. Double click. Same thing here. We don't have a. Uh-oh. What's going on here? There. I'm not getting a snap point here. Oh, because this was all just slightly off axes. Nope. There we go. I get in close enough that my snap overrides my inferencing. Well, give me my point. There we go. Oh, it didn't close. Again, don't care how I get the job done. This is what some would refer to as the brute force method. I'm just going in and getting geometry, don't really care how. There we go. Hand stitching, you could also call it that. There's my next point. Just gotta get it to close. There we go. Almost there, almost there, almost there. I'm just gonna keep telling myself I'm almost there, because I am almost there. I'm almost done. All right, I think this might be the last one. Yeah. All right, let's see now. Solid, solid. All right, now all of this has to become a separate solid. So I'm gonna make that its own group inside the component, and it's currently not solid. So wait, what's this? Huh. Oh, it's hidden by the body, so I didn't see it, but I got a weird bump here. Let's see what Solid Inspector says. Single internal face. Saying we're good, but SketchUp doesn't see it as solid. What is this? Okay, so when I run into this issue where it doesn't tell me why this isn't solid, a couple oh, found it. Not sure how you missed that one. Reverse faces. Okay, so I got something going on incorrect in here. Nope, that's good. Oh, it's at the wrong spot. It should be right here. All right, now try Solid Inspector. Still think that's an internal face. That's weird. Okay. What does... Right, so I still have something odd going. Oh. Okay, this has no thickness. That's my problem. That's fair. I take back half the things I just said about you, Solid Inspector. All right, I'm gonna take this, offset this down to here, push-pull this out till it hits this piece. Lost the face there. All right. There we go. Okay, now we should be looking at solidness. Some reversed faces, I accept that, fix that. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Now, same thing. Let's join those two together. Oh, this is no longer a solid for some reason. Straight edges and a single surface border. Huh, that's odd. I wonder why that happened. Let's look at the hidden geometry. Oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. So that's still got, this whole section was still softened by sub D. So it still broke that down to make it, yeah. Okay, so that's some extra geometry. It lost a face or two there. All right, but now, let's see. Solid group. All right. Join that with this piece. Oh, baby. All right, take this one, solid group. I'm gonna save, just because, you know. All right, so this one's saying it's not a solid group now, so let's check that for solidity. Oh, I have a nested instance. Oh, there we go. Explode that. Now check it again. Surface borders. All right, let's hop inside here and figure out, oh, ew, ew. I'm gonna undo a couple times because that wasn't like that when I left it. Maybe it was. Ew, something bad happened. Bad things. Fortunately, you guys know this. It's kind of funny because that is a surface that will be covered when it actually merges with the rest of the geometry. But unfortunately, in order to automatically merge it, I do have to go back and fix it. So, oh well. Seconds of work I have to put into this. There we go. All right, and now let's check it. All right, this happens sometimes. You ever see this? Where it creates a surface on top of a surface. I don't know what causes that, but it does keep it from being a solid. Oh, I got multiple snap points in one spot right there. That may have been the problem. Same thing going on right here. That's hard to see, but look at that. So I wasn't, it looked like I was creating a flat surface, but actually I was actually just creating two faces that slightly lapped over each other and looked like they were closed. To actually close this up properly, I have to create a new triangle from here to here. See what we think of that. Okay, so let's do it now. Get rid of all these now. Does that look good? Are we happy? Oh, still an issue right here. And somewhere else. Oh, I fixed that once, but those small faces still, because I'm dealing with such a big, smooth area, I'm still having some small face issues. And, where was it again? Fix, fix, solid. Group. Oh, because I exploded it. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not making changes to it anymore anyhow. And that's still nested because I exploded this out. I exploded the outside container rather than the inside container, which pulled a group out into my model. That was why. Which unfortunately means I probably have to make those fixes twice. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to mirror it. All right, so I'm going to get this guy working first. Right, what the problem is. All right, let's take a look and see if we can spot the issue, or am I going to go back to what? This is what I was talking about earlier. I was about to tell you how I fix problems when I find them like this. I usually use another tool. I don't like that. No. Stop messing with it. A lot of times if I run into, sorry, I have my head down. 3D mouse is a, sorry, Space Mouse Enterprise from 3D Connection. Yeah, that's most of what we got going on there. So, fixing this up, so Solid Inspector says it's solid, but SketchUp does not. SketchUp does not see it as a solid. So a lot of times what I'll do here when I get to this point is take a look at, where is it? Hold up. Tools, Solid Solver. Internal partitions remain, or perhaps more than two face edges share edges. Should we try and fix it? Sure. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, look, that's the worst that could happen. I've been meaning to shut down to fix that problem with Vertex Tools for about an hour and a half, so it got me there. All right, so something just happened. It did find an issue somewhere. So, yeah, so there's definitely a problem. Oh, you should really know better than to say something like, what's the worst that could happen? Oh, dumb. Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. Let's see, I'm just going to bounce around in here, see if I find any issues. That all looked good. I'm guessing it's something really small somewhere that's stopping it. So yeah, let's check it again. See if anything got knocked loose. Yeah, I know. All right, so something else that I will do on occasion, I'm gonna put this on my hold layer so I don't mess with the part that's working. One other thing I will do is sometimes exploding a group and making a new group will fix it. So it's solid again now. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna put my flag back up. I'm gonna grab this new group I created. I'm gonna Curic mirror it. Take my bike flag deck back down. And then let's see if we can, I'm gonna save. And we'll view 2 palettes, solid tools. Join that back together. A lot of geometry, so this is gonna slow down just a touch. That wasn't too bad. Is it still solid? It's still solid. So I'm gonna group it with my second one. Boom, there we go. So this is now one almost solid model. It did not quite fix that. Let's take a peek at what that is. A little teeny tiny missing piece. All right, so at that point, we should be close to solid again. All right. And I could do the same for, did I make this a component? I did make this a component. Excellent. Did I make this a component? I didn't. This is just a face. So here's what we're gonna do. So I want to make this a solid also. The reason it's not a solid, yeah, Dave's calling me out for working with these teeny little faces on this, what was it, 60-foot jet. All right, so I have these things right here. They only right now connect by their touch. They're right up against a surface, a hidden surface of that line. So there's no way to make this into a solid. It can't happen right now. So what I would be inclined to do at this point is try to get a nice straight on view where I can see the ends of all the fins. Back it up a little bit. Something like that. If I come in here and do a select like this, if I unselect the body, now what I have highlighted is just the ends of the fins that are up against the body. See that? What I can do now is hit scale, grab this corner right here, hold on option to scale to the middle, and if I pull in, now all that geometry laps into the main body. So I can select this, I can select each of these. Actually, the way I'll do it is make that a group. It should be a solid group. So I could actually come through here, make group, make group. Each time I do that, it's coming up to tell me it's solid. Because this is, you guys remember it's a pretty basic, just extruded, push-pulled shape. And one more. And then I can just one by one grab these outer shell, 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 outer shell. All right, now this component, oops. Solid group. Oh, because now I have a group inside component, so I'm going to explode this out. Now I should have a solid component. And there we go. So now I have one component here, 6 copies of one component here, so it's actually only 2 pieces, 3 if you count Mark, in the entire model. What do you think? That worked out all right, right? So here's where we are. Keenan did call out the explode and regroup. He referred to it as kind of like restarting Windows. It solves problems. It does. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Once again, I was kind of leery. I was not holding out a whole lot of hope for this. I did not love my reference images. I didn't know how this was going to go. And unfortunately, it was my idea. I said it would be a good idea in a meeting at some point. So I couldn't get out of it, couldn't back out. Yeah, so there's a couple questions that I may run back to. I do want to throw the question out again, as always. I know I don't have very good images of landing gear. I mean, it's kind of, I was going to put landing gear on, but it's going to look like cartoony compared to these nice swooping shapes. I'm going to have like a extruded circle with another circle stuck to it. Dave asked me this last time about split large images. I haven't used it. But I know you can get a higher quality image by using it. So it's probably something I should make a note of and actually use at some point. I'll try to remember to take a look at that, Dave. You might have to remind me again. Yeah, it is kind of low level, huh? Duck mark. But yeah, I think I could see Tom Cruise sitting in this thing. It's all whitewashed, but oh, that's what we should do. That's why I gotta. Here, let's. Gotta get my my red tail, and then this isn't gonna be white though, so I have to do this. Gotta get me a SketchUp logo on here real quick. I should probably have this. I end up remaking this to throw onto things so very often. I should probably just have this saved somewhere that I can just import this. I only want it on here once though. So I'm just gonna make this big like this. Combine textures. And then we'll bring that into the group, paste that in the context. And I'll look straight down and line this up exactly how I want it. This is the quick and easy way of doing this. All right, take this surface texture, make it a projected texture, pick it, put it on here, boom, there we go. Ooh. That looks pretty. That looks pretty okay. Yeah. So I agree. I would love to do landing gear, but I would love to have some awesome reference photos to do landing gear because it's complex. It's actually really cool. It would definitely fall into that, like when we made the steam engine, you know, all the different parts and see the different pieces, like how they interconnect and how it would fold up, hinges and pneumatics, and that would definitely be cool. But that's probably its own thing if we're gonna do that right. Excuse me. For now, I feel pretty good about this. So I want to throw this out. Again, we do this a lot. We actually have something scheduled for next week, but I don't remember what it was. A shed, maybe? I think maybe we're doing a shed next. We're doing something next week. We'll be right back here again, drawing something. I think we're doing a shed, like a garden shed or a storage shed, something like that. A lot of you guys have asked about doing different types of construction or architectural models, which are great. It's really hard to do justice to a project like that in the 3 hours that we have. So like doing an architectural model of the entire house, we might be able to do the outside shell of the house, but that's about it. We could possibly do the inside. And then we talk about something like, sorry, gotta get that centered on the screen. If we want to do something like construction, actually show the pieces that are going to put something together, that adds a whole lot more time to it. So I figured a shed's a good way because we'll do something fairly small, like 10 by 10, something like that, but it'll show, putting in walls as components, modeling a roof, the slope to a roof, and then we'll go in and frame it all, doors, windows, components, that kind of thing. So I think that's next week. I think next week is a shed. If not, it's the week after, but it's definitely coming up. So yeah, there we go. Let me know what you guys thought of that. And like as always, tell me if you have other ideas. If you think of some things that would be cool. Daniel's saying a simple Japanese walking bridge. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like something I want to look up. And we ended a little early, so I'm just going to look it up right now. Can't stop me. All right. Oh, something like this? That would be actually pretty cool. Not too terribly difficult. That would be a fun one. Awesome, that's a great idea. We'll throw the bridge onto the list of things that we want to model. That's awesome. I like it. And like I said, that would not take very much time either. That would be actually a pretty easy one. Maybe we could make that bigger, figure out a way to put even more things in there. Yeah, so as is the way we do things here, I will sign off here in a few minutes. We will leave the comments, the chat open, so if you guys have ideas, let us know. As I always say, it's fun to make these videos. Especially the live stuff. I love hanging out with you guys. It's a great time for me, but it means so much more when we're actually working on something that you guys want to see. So if we're actually putting together a model or showing tips that are important to you, it means that much more when we do this. So having said all of that, all those words, 3 hours of words I just said, I will, just kind of throw it out there. Any question? Oh, Ian says he just built an 8x10 shed in his garden. Model in SketchUp, no windows though, too risky. That makes sense. I'm looking to probably model a shed, and I don't know that there's a reason I really need a window in my shed. I don't really want to see into it from the outside. Maybe it's like if it's a big enough shed, it's to let light in during the day, but I can't see making a big enough shed that I need to see around it much more than reaching in and grabbing what I need. So Well, thanks for coming by, Callie. Thanks, Christopher. It was good. We went to Yellowstone, got to see all the Yellowstone things. It was a lot of fun. It was actually the perfect time of year. If you're ever gonna go to Yellowstone, go at the end of summer because it was really not very crowded at all. It was great. Of course, it's like the week before school starts, so some people don't like that. But if you ever have to go, not a bad time to check it out. Alexandru, yep, this is just the modeling. We don't actually have our own rendering engine, so we end up sticking to just creating the geometry, and we don't mess with rendering too much. It's not to say that we never will do rendering. I'm not opposed to it. What I don't want to do is spotlight a single renderer at this point and not show all of them. We have a lot of partners we work with, great rendering tools out there. Plus, to be totally honest, two things. I've seen some rendering live stuff, and depending on the rendering engine, it's kind of boring because you sit and watch the screen render. And more of that happens. So the other thing is I'm not a rendering guru by any means. I have a couple rendering tools that I've used in the past, and I throw models in there and I use the world light to light it and hit render. So I've never really gotten into rendering that much. It's just not a thing that I do a whole lot of. So we could talk about rendering, but you guys probably know more about it than I do, and it would just, I don't know. It would be me pushing the automatically render button and then we'd sit and watch it happen. So not exciting, so not that great. That's true. Dave was saying that, yeah, so you could have a higher up. I'd imagine you have a larger shed, Dave. Is that where you do your woodworking? That's probably bigger than what I was thinking for lawnmower storage. Awesome. Yeah, so maybe layout, and absolutely layout may absolutely be something we hit on. I'll have to put together a good example for using layout, starting with a solid model and setting it up and using it inside layout. That's something we could absolutely look at. So thank you, Alexandra. That's a good idea. Oh, just a storage shed. 8x12. You live up in the North Midwest region where you have probably have more space, right? 2-car garage workshop. That's better. That's how I like it. It's good to have cars go outside, shops go inside. That's how it's supposed to be. I mean, I don't want to sound elitist or anything. Cars are cool, but they're made to be outside. That's my thought. Marvin is modeling Legos Falling Water. That would be awesome. I actually just saw that Lego kit not that long ago, and I was like, ooh, that's got to be cool. I would love to see it. If you can get it on the forum and show us pictures of work in progress even, I would love to see that. So, and I'm going to throw that out there again. You guys don't have to do Lego models either, by the way. That was just an idea. That's something that I just picked up and I thought was fun to do. But if you're doing Lego kits, just show us on the forum. If it's something else totally different, love to see that too. Just show us what you're working on and keep modeling. So it's good. Modeling, like I said, for work is not a bad thing. And if it's what you do for a job, it's a good thing because you get paid for it. But it's nice to keep something going on the side too where you just kind of keep flexing those SketchUp muscles and always learning. That's a good thing. So yeah, throw that up on the forum, Marvin. Love to take a look at that. And anybody else, if you have a cool model you're working on, even if it is something for work that you can share, get on the forum, the gallery section. There's awesome people are posting all kinds of stuff. Go look at some stuff like Liam Keating stuff or Dave Richards stuff. Some really cool models. Love to get more people posting stuff up there because I know you're making stuff. I know you guys are out there modeling in SketchUp. Now you just got to share it with us. All right, so at this point, I'm rambling about nothing specific. And yes, I will say thanks, people who watched this, be they male or female. Thanks, guys. Hope you guys had a great time, and we will catch you right here next week modeling something. I'm not 100% sure. Keep an eye on social media. We do post onto all of our platforms, Instagram stories, Facebook, YouTube, letting you know what we'll be posting. So regardless, it'll be a good time, especially if you guys show up. So thank you again. Thanks for coming by, and we will see you next time. Thank you.